Well, it wasn't really our dad choice, like for us, like to come to America. It was our uncle downstairs. So now he know that over there. It wasn't that good place, like for us to get education. Coming to America was a pretty hard thing. Not knowing English or anything, or coming into a foreign country that you know nothing about. It was the hardest ever. Like we came in the middle of winter, so it was like kind of new to us, like the coldness, the winter. But what made it even worse is that our uncle, like after a week, when we got here, you put us into school. We know nothing about English, not even how to say eyes. So it was like kind of difficult for us, like to just go and sit down in the classroom, not knowing what are you doing whatsoever. Like you wake up every morning, you go in a bus, like you don't even understand what the kids are saying. Then when we got in the building, we are separated, so we can't really protect ourselves. So it is like you're out in a big building alone, scared of what's gonna happen. Because the first thing our uncle told us, he told us, in America, never fight. Whatever you do, never fight. We are originally from Sudan.
South Sudan.
South Sudan. My name is Liz Jangyol. I'm a 19-year-old and a full-time student at University University.
My name is Anna Peter, and I am a 22-year-old, and I'm currently working at Buena Vista Regional Medical Center and a part-time student at Iowa Central Community College for nursing. When we came into the country, English was the hardest thing to learn because we didn't know English. We didn't know anything about American culture. It's not like we had a brochure to look through. These are the do's and these are the don'ts about English or American life. But we adapted pretty good, you know. In Minnesota alone, we've moved 3 times within 1 year of period. And then when we finally moved to Utah, you know, it wasn't as hard as Minnesota, I guess, because we had relatives, like the kids. My aunts, they had kids that were born here. You know, they had children that was born in 1996, and they knew perfect English. They didn't even know our language, you know. So they helped us a lot pull through the English. It was great, and we connect pretty good with a lot of great people in Storm Lake and great teachers, you know. And our English, you know, we just continue on developing in the school. And then I met good friends. You know, I met a girl, you know, she's still my best friend. She's my daughter's godmother right now, and she's, you know, like we met very good people, you know, and then we established we make it a home here, and then I graduated here, and yeah, just, you know, Storm Lake been good for us.
Anna and Liz, I've known that they lived in our neighborhood for probably like 4 years. They've lived there, and because she had a really young kid and didn't have her child's really young, she didn't let her out to our neighborhood. That's kind of the initial connection. The kids are out playing, and so we didn't have a relationship probably for 2 or 3 years there, and she was just living in apartments. And you know, because we have our hands full with all the other kids, we weren't really making an initiative to try to connect. I'm Jay Dahlhauser, and I'm director of the Bridge of Storm Lake. Along with my wife and I and our kids, we founded the bridge as well. But her relationship just kind of started. She actually came over and asked, like, what are you doing with the kids? Because she had heard some things within her community about some of the negative aspects. She thought, you know, there was you know, the kids weren't being supervised very well, things like that within their community. And so she was just asking some questions, and so we kind of told her about it. And she started last year actually teaching Nuer language classes to the young people in the neighborhood. And that's one of the things my wife has really valued, is that the kids actually learn to read and write within their own language, and how that actually helps them educationally. And so she knows how to read and write in Nuer language. And so she brought her sister Liz along, and I don't know if Liz was that excited about it at first, but she started kind of teaching too. And that's kind of where it's actually last summer is where our relationship kind of started. And then when this house came up within Habitat, I'm vice president of Habitat for Humanity of Buena Vista County. When this house came up and we were looking for a smaller family to actually go in here, because it's just a 3-bedroom and no basement. And we had a lot of applicants with large families, and we do hope to help big families, but this house was already built and we had to, work within the structure. I mentioned it to Anna, and we just kind of just talked about what the program was, and it, I had to kind of settle some of those, preconceived ideas and what that might look like, and she decided, hey, this would be a really great opportunity for her to actually, have her own place, her own house, and to be able to even possibly invite her family to be able to come to the United States, because she's come with her grandma, and her grandma decided to go back to Africa. So it's just, Liz and Anna, and they have another sister that's living with another family right now, but it's just those three and their little daughter that are just kind of make their own way here in the United States.
Of course, they knew so much about Habitat. One morning, just knocked on my door at like 9 in the morning, and I was like, come in. I just woke up, and then he just briefly like, you want to apply for Habitat? And I was like, what is it? And he didn't even have an application that day. He just briefed about it. He said, I'll bring an application on Thursday. And I said, oh, sure. So he brought an application, and I filled it out, and then I give it back to him. And then a month later, we did an interview, with a couple of gentlemen and a woman and a Jay along. And I wasn't excited. I was just, we're gonna do an interview, however, and then we did an interview, and then they told me they're gonna get back to me in like a month or so. And then I waited, and I don't remember telling Liz about it. I'm sure I didn't mention it to her because I just didn't want to talk about it when there's nothing yet, because they had to do like 3 other families, and I was the last on their mind, I'm pretty sure.
But because I didn't even know like Hannah was doing like the Habitat thing with Jay. So until like Jay came here for my younger sister's birthday. So we were here, I'm blowing out like the candle for the cake. And then and Jay and his wife came, and then I'm telling Hannah the news. And then we were all was just like, this is like a mind blowing. Like we didn't actually believe it. And we finally like have something like to finally call home, like somewhere like we can settle down and say like, I'm going home. Instead like going, instead of saying I'm going to the apartment, like you're gonna be like, I'm going home. So it's kind of like more, like it's a real blessing that like we got this opportunity. So it's like so excited, like we are looking forward to get it done and move there.
I still don't know really how to explain how excited I am about the house. Like I was telling Jay and Annie when they first came in, because first of all, I just didn't go out to apply for Habitat, because that was like maybe not even the last thing on my mind. It wasn't something I thought of daily. Like I was thinking though, however, to get a 2-bedroom apartment like this spring, and I guess somehow, somewhere, because last summer, I was volunteering over the bridge of Storm Lake, and I was teaching our classes, our newer language class, to the kids over Jay's porch there. And I guess Jay heard that I need a 2-bedroom apartment, and I was applying. I already did apply for a 2-bedroom apartment, and then that was like just 2 days before my daughter's birthday. They came here, and then, they got all of us here. Like she said, it was my younger sister's birthday, and we had a little cake here over my place, and we were doing a birthday for her. And then Jay and his wife just popped in here, and my sister with her friends, and Liz with her friends, and me, and they're like, you have time? I said, yeah. And then they just blew up the news that we have exciting news for you guys, that you guys are gonna get the house. And I couldn't just jump up and down like, yay, we got the house, and I just couldn't cry, and I just couldn't, I really didn't know how I was feeling that minute. Like my mind had to take a break from it a little. And the girls were like, oh my God, that's amazing. Like, we're gonna get a house. And I'm just like, I think so, yeah, we're getting a house, and I think now yesterday or 2 days ago, we went up to the house and worked there. And slowly as I go to the house to work there, I'm not feeling that excitement yet, because in 100 years, I was thinking one day if I get married, a husband and the kids, we're eventually gonna try to get a house and make America a home. Not like this. I'm only, barely 22. I'm a single mom, and I didn't expect just to get a house like that. I know it's not free, but I wasn't applying for a house at any time any sooner in my life. But it's here, and it's getting done, hopefully by the beginning or mid-August.
Habitat for Humanity has a really strong vision to say we need people that have home ownership, even the people that are having a hard time being able to rent, you know, they need to belong to this community. And once they do, they settle in, they usually can provide, you know, volunteering service and give back to the community once they have some ownership. How it benefits the individual family, you know, just having something that can put their money towards equity rather than, you know, rent month after month after month. You know, the great thing about Habitat is they don't charge any interest on the loan, and so that's a real strong value. Not only do they get a house that's probably a little bit below what they normally would pay as far as on the normal housing market, but they also have an opportunity to pay 0% interest. So every month's rent that they normally be paying that just kind of goes to the wind is actually going to pay principal. And so, you know, we also teach them about home ownership, taking care of their home. We teach them about budgeting and things like that, and walk them through a lot of those critical parts of just becoming financially responsible and taking care of your own personal belongings in home. You know, I think the American dream means a little bit different for all of us. I think we have our own conceived idea of what the American dream is. But I think that probably people within Africa, when they hear about the United States of America, they're thinking that, you know, you have freedom. You don't have to fear like anybody like, you know, targeting your family or anything like that. You can actually settle down. You don't have to move from place to place. A lot of people from Africa have had to, you know, move to the refugee camp. And so someplace where you can kind of be at peace and settle down, I think is a big thing for maybe Anna and some of the people that have been in refugee situations. I know that maybe in the United States, we maybe have set like the American dream is, you know, having a huge yard and property and a dog and, you know, a nice car sitting outside. But I don't necessarily think that that's the goal of a lot of the refugees. It's just being able to have a place that they can call their own and settle down and, you know, be a part of a community.
That's what I call American dream coming true. You know, if we're gonna get a house, you know, I could care less what happens in my life after that. You know, I think just it's amazing that we're gonna have enough room. We're gonna have a house that we're gonna call a home. And right now I'm in process of bringing my mom and my 3 younger into the country.
That's one aspect that we've learned too is, you know, when we look at different cultures, the value of relationships. With a lot of these, the people that are coming to Storm Lake, they've had to really depend on relationships. So when they can feel part of a community, that's a big thing. So I think that Habitat does a great job with that, and the bridge does as well, to help, you know, bring people around them and support them, and not necessarily people from their own personal culture, but people from other cultures that can come together and support people and love each other across the divides and the barriers that we may see that separate us.
So, you know, God is definitely working on my favor.